They'll probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flow, chew you out, ain't fair, Jordan.
Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy, another Zod, back at you, Shoutouts. Anyway, I just wanted to get into something. Well, I won't say it's serious, but it's something a lot of people have been talking about. And, you know, for me, I kind of seen it. I won't say that it was funny, but it's just like, you know, with all the time that passed, a lot of things have changed. And I guess some people are having a problem getting over that fact. And then plus to answer a few questions that people have about me. But first and foremost, I want to give my shots out to a dude named Llewkritive. He got a song on YouTube called Memories 2. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to that. I think a lot of you might want to check that out. Also, shout out to L2R Music. We went to an event last night, so we will be coming out in the video. Me, my son, and one of my primos, my cousin, my relative, whatever you want to call him. You know, he was there representing the Asian community, well, the half black, half Asian community. And also shout out to Blasto. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to his thing. He does a lot of shirts and printings. And he got his own merch out there, especially when it's you know, hustling and getting that music. And thanks to, you know, Maka, Valley Boy, L2R, and a lot of people that showed up for the show to really support the, you know, they're really supporting the movement. And the homies from Netline, he was supporting the Valley movement. So, you know, shouts out to L2R for doing that. And to all the homies from the Avs. But anyways, what I really want to get into is the fact that people are still like somewhat tripping on the fact that, you know, you find Mexicanos that actually run with black gangs, and you also, and you know, mostly it was about me. You know, people were just, you know, they wanted to really pick my brain and be like, you know, how did you survive in prison? How did you deal with people being disrespectful and, you know, things of that nature? And at the end, I always say it, you know what I mean? It wasn't that type of road. Like, it's, you know, I won't say it was technically easy, but it was just one of those things that as long as you were solid and you're willing to do what you got to do when it's time to do what you got to do, you were cool. Now, what a lot of people didn't see back in the day, which some people are still curious about, is the fact that, you know, you don't see a lot of other races running with other races. Like, you see, you know, for the, you know, some people say that it's kind of trippy when you see a black dude running with Mexican. Well, there's thousands of us, and that's been proven a million times over. But that's not what the video is about. It's about Mexicanos that run with black gangs. And see, one of the homies, you know, I don't know if you want to put his name out there, but I'm gonna just, you know, until he tell me, I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But he made not a reference, but he said something to a dude that was kind of on my bumper that was supposedly out of East Los. And he told him, you know what, I've never, like, the homie Blackie has never once said that he was ashamed of being black. He's always admitted the fact that he was black. And what people fail to realize, it's like he said, imagine, you know, him, if him being Mexican and being from a blood gang, that doesn't make him ashamed of his race. It just means that he was in love with the culture, he was in love with the stilo, and he liked to get down, and that was plain and simple. And then he made a point to let everybody know that he wasn't from no blood gang. He's in fact a homie, but he was just giving them that scenario. Like, and that's what I think a lot of people fail to realize. And this is no shot at, you know, the homies or anybody else, but it's just plain and simple fact. Like, to answer that question, there's a lot of Mexicanos running with black gangs. There's whites running with black gangs. There's whites running with Mexicano gangs. It's just, it's one of those things that it was long due and it's long past, and like, people are not really tripping. They're willing to pretty much weather any storm in order to represent what they feel like. And people ask me all the time, what do I think about a black dude, or not a black dude, but a homie or Mexicano, for that being from a black gang. And I just tell them like this, I always say the same thing. I really have no problem with it, because that would be kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. And for the people to understand that, it'd be basically hypocritical for me to try to say something about a Mexican dude running with a black gang when I'm in fact a black dude running from a Mexican gang, even though I've been from it since a long, you know, a youngin. But it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it just comes down to people are past a lot of the bullshit. And yeah, you know, it's understandable. You're still gonna have homies that are solid to the game and just figure that shouldn't happen. And, you know, whatever. At the end of the day, you're all entitled to your own opinion. I'm entitled to my own opinion. It's like I had a conversation with the homie last night at the L2R show in Nevada. He come from, there is no black dudes. They don't allow it. and I don't have nothing against this homie. That's how his vodka runs. And my vodka doesn't trip like that. Some don't. Other vodkas trip like that, and some don't. It's just, you know, it's a sign of the times that a lot of things are changing. A lot of people are trying to bridge this gap. If you haven't really been paying attention to the homie Bozo Bam, for the haters that got something to say about him, I'm not really paying attention to you. But like the homie Bozo Bam, this dude is out there networking with multiple blacks. You see him, he pull up in Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P., NHP, you know what I mean? He did, rest in peace, Nipsey. He showed up to the spot and really was out there representing for the homies. People want to go on the line and say clout chasing and all that, but he was just showing that the homies can pull up and show their respect. And even though, you know, in prison, a lot of us have warred and went at it, but it's just the way it is. It's nothing personal. It's always business. And being from the vodka that he's from the pick, like, I mean, that says a lot for him to pull up. I could see watch from like South Central and Compton maybe pull up and represent and watch, you know what I mean? But the pick, where they're located at, that's like the Southeast and all that. Them bottoms showing up like really out there, because he wasn't the only vodka that I seen out there that was a homie. But to be known, and he's pretty much known to be out there just really on Front Street, knowing that, you know, there's been a lot of animosity between different hoods, but just really showing that support and really out there showing that it's not really a brown or a black thing. Of course, we all fall to our own corners when it's time to do whatever we got to do, but at the end of the day, just to represent, he represented the whole car right there. Like when I pull up and show my respects to Nipsey Hussle, I was representing my section, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. And it's not necessarily about or anything that has to do with clout chasing. It's just representing and showing love to a man that did a lot of great things. As you can see, I got him on my t-shirt, you know what I mean? It's a shame that he had to end up on the t-shirt, but at the end of the day, the marathon ain't gonna stop. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say on that, you know what I mean? A lot of people got to get used to it and understand that times have changed. And I know a gang of fools that's still incarcerated right now and surprised at the influx of Mexicanos that run with blacks. It's a whole different stilo now. The homie from El2R, they do their music, you know what I mean, and they represent and they show love to the homies, but at the end of the day, they're not really trying to get stuck in a certain genre. And that's no shot at nobody, but you don't really want to brick yourself in. It's like Lil Rob. When I seen the last interview he did with, was like a mini interview with Capone. I mean, what is it? Capone, Capone News or whatever. The one I did, sorry about that. The homies probably be like, what the hell? But Camp Capone News, when he did the interview with him, the little brief on when he was asking him questions, he basically said that he might have to switch his style up slightly in order to, you know, compete with that new age stuff. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily, you don't have to say the N-word in order to compete, but just coming with straight bars. You know, that time when it was just, you know, talking the high notes and, you know, you're trying to get some play. Like those times out the door, it's either bars or you got to have something catchy. And he's going to move. The same with that dude, you know, for whatever reason people don't want me to mention, but that fool Capone, whatever. He basically said he might have to switch his style up too, because it's no longer, the Cholo style is no longer, you know, even though we've always had our own lane as far as homies, them times are changing. A lot of homies are pushing that route. And I know I went in a circle in order to describe what I'm, not describe, but basically to give you an idea of what I'm talking about and give you different scenarios. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to this. Motherfuckers are moving past it. And a lot of older cats, you know what I mean, may be stuck in their ways, but there's a lot of them that's just going with it. And it's not setting out or nothing. It's just understanding that the days of us are no longer there. You know, you got a chosen few that actually still represent it, but for the most part, you know, Vatos out there doing their thing, and they're gonna do what they do to get money within reason. Some dudes, you know, they do other things. You know, they like to use the N-word, and I'm not mad at them. At the end of the day, it's like, if that's what floats your boat and that's what you like, that's your stilo, that's how you grew up, it's all love or mine. You know what I mean? It's like the homie last night said, you know what I mean? A lot of people may not agree with him, but at the end of the day, he's not tripping off race. He's not tripping off who he associates with. As long as they're good and they're solid, I don't give a fuck what race they are. You know what I mean? He's gonna keep it. He's gonna keep it G, and he's gonna give them theirs just like he expects them to give them his. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. But yeah, hopefully I answered the question for the people that really want to know about Mexicanos that run with black gangs. You know what I mean? And what I thought about it and how people might feel about it. At the end of the day, I just be honest. I'm just Zod. And no matter if I was one of those dudes who was small-minded and felt like I felt some type of way about it, it wouldn't really matter, because at the end of the day, I'm a prime example. Once you fall in love with a culture, there ain't nothing outside of death that can stop that. And there's a lot of cats that hate me just for that simple fact that I represent to the fullest. And it's just what I do. It's in my everyday life. It's in my everyday slang, my talk, my walk, everything. But people just got to get used to and understand that it's a new age and people are moving past the old ways of doing things. But like I said, I'm 40, about to be 41 this year, and I'm just chilling. I'm enjoying my life. Like I said, we pulled up to the L2R show with my son, and he was having a ball. Like I said, I brought my primo that's half Asian, well, half Filipino. He was up there repping for his section. So, you know, it was all love, you know what I mean? And shouts out to, like I said, to Maka and all them, to L2R, to Valley Boy, and to anybody else in the show. Blasto, hey, gracias for having us. And pretty much that's it, you know what I mean? You about to enjoy the rest of your night. Your boy Zod is about to upload this video and get out. And drop your comments, and we'll see where you go. And for the haters, I'm just not going to respond to you no more. Like the homie said, it just breeds negativity. And at the end of the day, that same energy ain't the same in person. So on that note, you about to enjoy the rest of your day. I'm your boy Zod, K2 Zod, and I'm out.
Kneel before Zod!